Welcome. This video, I'll be talking about uh, wrestling movies. Not most of movies that dealt with what the plot was about wrestling. I'm not going to have any movies that had any wrestlers in the movies, or something like Rocky 3 or Spider-Man where it had one scene with wrestling. It's about basically where the plot either was centered on wrestling or it was part of the main plot. This, when we're and these are only movies that I actually have seen. So I'll be getting like the time of the movie, stars, any wrestlers that were actually in the movie, and synopsis of it, and whether I actually like it or not. And some of these, like some of the older ones, whether whether or not I liked it as a kid, and if I still enjoy it now today as an adult. Okay, the first one is the wrestler from 2008. There actually was another one in the 70s, called a movie called Wrestler. I think it came out like 73 or 74. That Terry Funk in it. Also, but I've never seen that one. And from what I read, it has a different plot from this one. Maybe just the star. This is the one that I've seen. Was Swan Mickey Rourke, Maurice Tomei, and Ellen Rachel Wood. This had French wrestlers at some point on screen. Uh, and they are the following: Ernest the Cat Miller, who actually had a somewhat major role, supporting role in it. Uh, Bobby E, now known as Mr. Stone in WWE. I think this was even before his TNA run, actually. Uh, Nickel Butcher, I've actually met him, nice guy. Uh, Nick Burke, the Blue Meanie, ECW fame, and being punched by JBL in WWE. Uh, One Killings, aka R-Truth. So this would have been right before he came, within a year or so before he came back from WWE. I think this was also after he left TNA. I don't think he was in TNA when this came out anymore, as I get into it anymore. Ellie Smooth, so he's also a cousin of Roman Reigns. Uh, Jay Lethal, now in AEW, formerly of TNA. And I think this was right before his first New Orleans stint. Uh, Johnny Valiant, Jim Powers from Killer B, of WWE, Austin Aries. So this, I think, was before his TNA stint. Claudio Castagnoli, this is when he was in Ring of Honor still. Romeo Orselli, who has been known as being one half of the tag team called Hot Throbs. I'm sure a lot of people don't remember that tag team. They went up in WWE for very long. Chuck Taylor, Best Friends. Nigel McGuinness, now announcer for AEW. DJ Hyde, most Drew Gallagher, currently in WWE, and Bobby Dempsey. There were a few others, but it's like probably more independent wrestlers at the time. Basically, the synopsis of this was the Mickey Rourke plays a wrestler who was popular in the 80s and got trained, and 20 years later, he's now regulated to working, I guess not regulated, be the right correct term, but he's now wrestling weekends at Independence and working and had to take a job part time at a supermarket, working behind the deli counter. And He's a lot of times, and he's and it's only like he's like taking still. He wants to get back. Obviously, wants to get back to being mainstream stream type thing, WWE type stuff, and it's sort of like backstage, like him taking steroid and him going to gentlemen's club, which where most Tomei's character works at. We becomes friendly with, or gets to know with. Uh, and other things and she's one of the and Ellen and Rachel Wood plays Mickey Rourke's daughter. He tries to get back with her, and denies it. Then, after one of his matches, he has a heart attack. He, he and his daughter finally uh, um, reconcile, but then Mr. Tomei's character helps him get better with her, and he tries to make a pass, and she kind of pushes him off, so they kind of going to see her. And he gets a heart attack. He stops wrestling, starts working at the supermarket full time, but someone notices him, and for his as a, with his wrestling persona. And eventually goes back one night. He goes to the independent wrestling matches where he probably would have been wrestling that night if he didn't have the heart attack. And afterwards, goes out with the boys, as they say, and starts drinking, starts drugs, hooks up with a girl, ends up at her place next morning, and ends up going home, sleeping the whole day. Except he's supposed to meet his daughter for dinner that night and misses that. And when he tries to apologize, he said that was one of the rest of his life. He then ends up, yes, I know someone else recognizes him at work. Ends up gets a little pissed, ends up cutting his finger, quits the job. And before he had his heart attack, he he was going to have a match with Mr. Cat Miller. They were his biggest match back in the 80s, and they want to have another one. He decides he's going to do it, even with his heart condition. Everyone tells him not to do it, and he has and what's it called? He comes to the arena backstage, and they did reconcile, but she tries to stop him from the mask for his safety. And right before as the movie's about to end, he looks back and sees that she was gone. She was watching from the entrance backstage. And during the match, Miller's character notices that he's not doing well. Wants everyone to end the match. He says no. And after he notices, and Mickey Rourke notices that Mr. Tomei's not there anymore, he about to jump, and that's what the movie ends. And I think a lot of people, I'm not gonna spoil it, but people that he may have died after that match, but who knows? But of course, how it ends, speculation. So it's speculation. Actually, so I remember seeing this movie in the theater. Actually, it was pretty good. It was, I know, nominated for a lot of awards. A lot of people were not happy that they didn't get an Academy Award nomination. Uh, a big ones at least. Excuse me. This also uh, or led to Jericho and Mickey Rourke having Bob's between the two of them. I think originally they were supposed to have a match at WrestleMania 25, but it didn't. So Jericho ended up having that elimination type match with Steamboat, Ricky Steamboat, Roddy Piper, and Jimmy Snuka with Ric Flair in the corner. And Mickey Rourke was there and did get involved after the match and he knocked him out. And remember, so Mickey Rourke probably had, because he is a trained boxer, he has like 20 or 30 boxing matches, professional boxing matches. He probably had to be trained how to, when he threw the punch, not to connect. Yeah, I thought it was good when I saw it, really. Still, David Miri, I know Jim Cornette. Then, like I said, it was depressing, but know it. At least maybe not so much nowadays, but back then that probably was closer to especially like wrestlers taking steroids because they wanted to get bigger. They wanted WWE to notice them. They wanted TNA to notice them. They wanted Ring of Honor to notice them. Then you, at least if WWE didn't see them, but Ring of Honor or TNA saw them, it would be a stepping stone to WWE, hopefully. And for the last 10, 15 years, you saw a lot of bigger Ring of Honor and TNA stars making the jump to WWE. So there's that. Next one, Nacho Libre, 2006, starring Jack Black. The only two wrestlers that really appeared are both Big Charles in Mexico, Silver King Jr., and Human Tornado. Basically, basically is all roles around Jack Black's character. He was left at a church that oh God, I can't remember right now. He was a for adoption, and I probably remember at some point when I'm talking about this, um, but he never was adopted, so he ended up growing up in the at the church, and as an adult, he became a cook for all the kids there, and just didn't have a lot of money. He had to make do with what they had. He cared. One day he went to the city, got robbed, so he needed to make more money for for the uh, for the church and the kids, and he convinced the guy that robbed him to be his tag team partner. Got the first match. They had no idea what they're doing, but the crowd was behind them. Kept getting asked back, kept losing. But they realized they had to win to make more money. And so he wanted a title match, and the champ shrugged him off. Then they learned that Royal was the winner, got a title shot. So Jack Black actually didn't win. He was the runner up. At this point, it disappointed him and Buddy got into an argument, and they stopped teaming together and hanging out and stuff. And the guy, the one that the Royal, the other guy, he had to tell him, "Hey, I'm sorry, he's out. I'll help you train." And during this time, he was doing this in secret. He also wore like a mask too, so he wanted to reveal his identity. And the church actually didn't approve of him wrestling, not him wrestling, but wrestling in general. And they ended up finding out that who he was because one day when he was serving the kids, he had his one shot under what he wore to at the church, and 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 it came off, and they saw that he was a wrestler. He got kicked out too. So So he actually ended up match. I think he won. I haven't seen it in a while. I think he won the match, but I remember at the time I liked it. I'm sure I probably still enjoy it if I saw it again, but I haven't seen it in a while. I should watch it again. So, because actually, it was actually a comedy, but it was a good fit one, especially considering that I think nowadays people realize what pro wrestling is about. But this kind of also shows that that especially at one point a lot of adults didn't realize that wrestling was. I want to say not. I don't want to say fake because it's not necessarily fake, but it was scripted, as you say, in terms of like the heroes and heroes and faces and what and the matches itself. So this kind of shows that a little bit in a comedic form. This one is Radio Rumble. Came out in 2000 and starred David Arquette, uh, Arthur Platt, Scott Kahn, Louis McGowan, Joe Paterno, Lato, I think it's how to pronounce it, and Martin Landau. This had a lot of WCW wrestlers like Bill Goldberg, DDP, Booker T, Randy, the Macho Man Savage, Bam Bam Bigelow, Sid Vicious, Juventud Guerrera, Kurt Hennig, Disco Inferno, Billy Kidman, Conan, Rey Mysterio, Perry Saturn, Prince IKU, uh, Van Hammer, uh, Gorgeous George, Mean Gene Oakland, Tony Schiavone, Mike Tenay, Charles Robinson, Sheriff Lee, uh, Billy Sherman, another ref, the Nitro Girls. John Cena had uncredited, was on uncredited action, and this was before he signed WWE to go to OVW for developmental. And basically, uh, Oliver Platt is a former champ. He kind of retires, and David Arquette and Scott Kahn are big fans of his and decided to go with him and train and have him back in the ring to regain his title. And they end up become wrestlers themselves. Um, and it's like his promoter tries to screw him. His manager tries to screw him over. Orlando is his manager tries to screw over Oliver Platt. Right in the movie, he ends up winning the title back, and Scott the other kid and Scott Kahn create characters and become wrestlers themselves. And it was an okay movie. So this was like one of the last things to really promote WCW because came out I think in the spring of 2000 and like April. And so within a year, WCW was sold to WWE. It was an alright movie. I've seen it once or twice. It makes it alright. And then didn't see it until after it was way after WWE bought out WCW. So it was like, and because of this movie, David Arquette, this is how David Arquette became WCW champion that one time. He still has some matches from time to time. So, but yeah, it's all right. I think it was more an attempt to capitalize or some try to capitalize on Hollywood to bring eyes to WCW, and it didn't really work. Next one is first of two Hulk Hogan movies on this list. Mr. Nanny, which, like I said, it's Hulk Hogan. Sean Hemsley. If you don't know, if you don't not recognize the name, he was most famously known for playing Mr. Jefferson, George Jefferson on the Jeffersons, and was the deacon in the TV show A Man, which was on NBC in the late 80s. Also had Austin Pendleton. I don't see why Princess Pendleton. Oh, damn it. Robert Guzman, Madeline Zima, Raymond O'Connor, Mother Love, and David Somerset. The wrestlers that appeared, more WWE related ones. Hogan, of course. Alpha Anoy. The father, that's the father of Roman Reigns. My old uncle, one of the, I tend to forget which one is which. I think this is his father. Bruce Beefcake, George the Animal Steel, Jim the Neidhart, and Kamala. Uh, Basically, Hogan is an ex-wrestler. He needs a job, and he ends up getting hired by Robert Guzman. I think it's Robert Guzman. Yeah, Robert Guzman, who he's an inventor, scientist, whatever. He's basically to be his bodyguard, but he ends up more or less taking care of his two kids who like try to prank him and stuff. And Austin Pendleton, I guess I don't think that's his name, plays the villain. He tries to not steal the father's plans for like a ray, if I'm not mistaken. And it so happens he also has a past with Hemsley and Hogan. He wanted them to throw a match, which they didn't, and tries to shoot Hogan after the match, and Hemsley gets in the way, and he ends up getting shot. He walks around with the cane. Well, but the family ends up getting kidnapped to try by Pendleton to try to for him to get the plans. I think Helmsley ends up getting kidnapped as well. Morgan ends up saving the day. He gets arrested, and he ends up wrestling and stuff. And most of these wrestlers in there are basically like flashbacks of Hogan in his dreams when he's from his wrestling days and stuff. It's kind of obvious if you know how the wrestlers look. It's kind of obvious they're supposed to be the wrestling wrestlers. And this movie stuck. Most of Hulk Hogan's movies are not very well. And speaking of Hulk Hogan, next one, was Bond, but also obviously Hulk Hogan. In fact, Kurt Fuller, John Severance, and Tiny Lister. Basically, and the wrestlers that appear again. Oh yeah, I should mention is like this with Radio Rumble. That's also say like a main note of Truth or Freeze and Radio Rumble. Also, all the announcers and people kind of associated like Nitro Gold with wrestling, like the Nitro Gold. This is Hulk Hogan. I guess you get this tiny Lister as a wrestler. He was more a wrestler than David Arquette was. Uh, John Dave Swanson, he played Ultimate Solution in WCW in '94. He's done some other wrestling videos, mostly just stunt stuff. Uh, Bill E, better known as Axe from Demolition, Stan Hansen, Dean Oakland, Jesse the Body Ventura, Howard Winkle, Joey Morella, he's a ref, also so happened to be the son of Roland Monsoon, and Marcus Alexander was uncredited in this movie. Basically, Hulk Hogan plays a wrestling champ on this network. And Kurt Fuller an executive of a rival network. He wants something to beat Hulk Hogan's show. So he starts like a Raw Underground, something like that. Somewhere between Raw Underground and UFC type stuff. And Ty Lister, known as Zeus, he had several matches as Zeus. Came in was being a one-up, and Hogan's brother goes to one of the shows. And they find out that he's Hogan's brother. Ends up eventually getting beat up in the hospital. John Severin's character is sent to try to seduce Hogan. And then she actually falls in love with him and actually decides not to help him. And she gets kidnapped. And Kurt had challenged him, had made a challenge to Hogan to face his champion Zeus. Hogan initially says no, but after all this, agrees to it. And after John Simmons gets kidnapped, he says, "Okay, if you lose the match, she will be released." And ends up she she ends up escaping. She sees him, and he ends up winning the match. And no, this movie's not very good either. Like I kind of mentioned with the last one. And he used to end up having, I don't want to say a great career, but he had several matches, was on several pay-per-views with Hogan. He like this big monster hero who no-showed everything. So he ended up in WCW for a little bit too as well, doing some wrestling matches too. So he had maybe 15, 20 matches in his career. I forgot what his name was in WCW, but yeah, he was with Stevie Ray's group when he split up with his brother. And this was after he left the NWO, so that's probably about '99. He did, yeah, I think it was when Master P came in to WCW too, so that could be interesting. You, it's not about that. more so, but more so, celebrities over the years, WCW and WWE and AEW. Um, Next one, probably the first wrestling movie that I ever saw as a kid, was Body Slam. Okay. It's like came in 1987. Before I go into it, so, for some reason, I thought it came out earlier, but I don't think I ever went to the theater. I think it was like one of those straight to video movies. So it's like, it makes sense I saw it in 87 too, so. But it starred Dirk Benedict. He was actually on the A Team, I mean the TV show of A Team. So he was the second person to from the show to at least a thing with pro wrestling. In other words, Mr. T actually had several matches in WWE and WCW. Roddy Piper, Tony Roberts, Sam Fatu, Captain Lou Albano, uh, and Kelly Martin. The wrestling personalities to get involved: Roddy Piper, Sam Fatu. He was Tama of the Islanders, and he's also Rikishi's twin brother. So that makes him the uncle of Usos and Solo Sikoa. And there's a fourth brother that's wrestling now too, of Usos. So he probably will see him I think he signed to a developmental deal with NXT, but hasn't appeared yet as of this video, making this video. That's Captain Lou Albano, Alpha and Second Annoy. Remember, there were the brothers tag team, so the father and uncle of Roman Reigns and the uncles of Rikishi. It's Sion Valhai, that's how you pronounce his last name, also known as Barbarian. Uh, Thomas LaVey Cosset. He was known as Tijoyo Khan and AWA. It had cameos by Ric Flair, Classy Free Blassie, Adnan Al-Kasi. He went by briefly in the early 90s as General Adnan. He managed House of Slaughter when he turned heel. Uh, Bruno Sammartino and Alexis Mina. Basically, Bruce Benedict plays he's a, a music promoter. Take it back. Usually, music. He's a manager of a band. My bad. Kid Martin plays his daughter. This is before she went on the show Life Goes on ABC. I think this was a couple years later. And his band is not doing well. Then he meets Piper and Fatu, and he regularly starts managing them too. You remember him going to a meeting, stuff like names like so happens to be named like Rat Pack, like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. Thing. Oh, cool! They didn't realize there's two wrestlers and a rock and roll band. So he ends up, and Tony Roberts becomes his girlfriend, and they start going touring. Um, so he knows he gets good crowds with with this band playing performing, then having Piper and Fatu teaming up to get two local people. And it's like whenever the band's playing, it seems like the wrestlers Fatu and Piper, Piper play well, and they end up getting attacked by Alabama's tag team champs Alpha and Sika. And the movie ends with with Alpha and Sika taking on Piper and Fatu. I think the winner becomes champ. And the cameos I mentioned, this is where the cameos are because it would have been like Hogan Andre type thing. Maybe not as big, but it's supposed to be a big match. And I enjoyed it. I remember enjoying it a lot as a kid. I remember watching it all the time. That's probably okay, an average movie, not great. So this would have been filmed. When this was filmed was when Piper was trying to make it into Hollywood, and I'm kind of surprised he did this. Even though because Stu was like, okay, you won't be taken seriously as an actor, be doing a wrestling movie. And I want to add that with Benedict, he didn't realize that wrestling was scripted. He thought it was real, but he like, but yeah, he found out real quickly. And apparently, and I mean, and at the time, it was, I mean, I think I knew wrestling was not real in terms of the fighting and stuff, but I still watched it anyways. And but from what I read that they in the main event, not a match, they just had four guys who actually were professional wrestlers. They did where they had look real show and get out nowadays. They probably I know they wouldn't do that. Next one, main event, came out in 2020 on Netflix. Actually, was a WWE produced movie. Stars are Seth Carr, Tishana Arnold, and Ken Marino. Well, the wrestlers are most all going to be WWE wrestlers here. Keith Lee, who was in NXT at the time. Bonjane Abbasi, Bobby Kittle, or Commander Aziz, who's no longer in WWE, just got released. Uh, there's Renee Paquette, known as NWE's Renee Young. Matt Polanski, known as Corey Graves. Both of them, well, Renee Young, they She goes by her real name now, but her and Corey Graves, they listed them both their real names. Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, Miz, Mia Yim, and Eric um, uh, Bugenhagen are with Bees. Um, Basically, it revolves around Seth Kyle, big WWE fan, but gets bullied every day in school, finds a mask, puts it on, and makes him able to do wrestling stuff. Then on then one day he and his grandmother, Sharon, was watching WWE and announced, hey, in their hometown they're gonna have tryouts for NXT, next NXT champ, NXT superstar. So his grandmother knows he has the mask. She wears it. He ends up winning it. And then maybe I'm gonna say Commander Aziz. It's easy to pronounce it. Him and he's in it. He tries to. He and his manager end up realizing that's is what makes him a good wrestler, and they steal it. But he still ends up being the competition anyways. But gives him confidence. And Ken Marino is his father, who's a single father trying to raise him, but is never around. So that's in part why he's doing this, and finally he's able to start paying attention to his son a little bit more. But but uh, but Koscheck wins the thing, then finally reveals himself as, hey, I'm only 11 years old, and it's not. I want to give the contract to Keith Lee, who and like Miz is actually is hosting and hosted the whole thing. Kind of if you remember how he kind of debuted on TV, he was hosting the G Research, that type of thing, and they basically said, no, when you're 18, have you come out, you have a job, and to train in NXT. And the movie ends with him being on his school's wrestling team, and he ends up being one of his bullies. So, so that's pretty good, and actually pretty good ending. And I say like I did enjoy the movie for what it was worth. Not a great movie, never won any awards, but it is what it's worth. Especially considering when it came out when everyone was home. So it was something that for an hour and a half or however long the movie was. You might not follow what was going on around us. See that there's two both cartoons. Yeah, one was the two Scooby Doo movies. The first one was Scooby Doo and the WrestleMania Mystery, and basically it's a bunch of voice actors, obviously, and but they have the voices of John Cena, AJ Lee, Santino Marella, The Miz, Triple H, Michael Cole, McMahon, Bruce Clay, Kane. These are the ones with speaking roles, and these are the ones who at least didn't have speaking roles, but the cartoon versions of them showed up. Sin Cara, Jerry the King Lawler, Sergeant Slaughter, Jimmy Hart, The Big Show, Alberto Del Rio, Cameron and Naomi, Cameron and Naomi. And basically, Scooby Doo and Scrappy, Shaggy, they beat this video game to to we get tickets to WrestleMania. They ended up convincing Velma and Fred and the gang, basically the gang should come in to deal with them. When they get there, the van goes off road by this monster, and they get saved by John Cena. And then I'll take it back. They didn't get tickets to WrestleMania. They got invited to Wrestling Town, I guess is what it's called, and 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 then they find out about the monster and stuff. And during this, you get a young wrestler, someone who wanted to be trained by a wrestler, but his father didn't want him to. So basically, the gang is there to help investigate, see what happened, and somehow Shaggy and Scooby get in a match with Kane. And during this match, when they realized that something was going to happen, and like the title match, championship title was possessing them and people and stuff, and they ended up finding out, of course, who was the monster and stuff. Was trying to get, he was basically it was the guy's father, the one that wanted to be a wrestler. He didn't want his son to be basically a wrestler. And that's alright for to a kids, of course. So it's alright. So if you kids, you probably like it, especially if you're a youth fan. Nothing special. That one came out in like 2014. So this one came out in 2016. This is Scooby Doo and the WWE, the Curse of the Speed Demon. Yeah, again, voice actors in it. Plus, they had Triple H, Undertaker, Stephanie McMahon, uh, Dustin Rhodes, Sheamus, Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, which was one of the last things he did before he passed away, The Miz, Paige, Primo, uh, El Torito, Epico, uh, Lana, Rusev, versus Naomi on AEW, Michael Cole, Kofi Kingston, and Vince McMahon. Basically, it's this is in teams of to be uh, race drivers, but there was some monster trying causing wrecks and stuff and so forth. And they Scooby and Shaggy and the gang are there to investigate, investigate, and ends up being Stephanie and Triple H because they were happy that Vince didn't want Stephanie to be racing in this racing in this race. So, and again, it's basically like his movie. It's alright for what it was worth, but yeah, it's nothing special, but it's alright. It's like there's gonna be movies you want to go see it. You want to see it? They're both out there. I still will watch them because hell, I grew up watching Scooby Doo, so you like Scooby Doo, and then yeah, go ahead, watch it or not. But and thank you, and please come back again.